welcoming you to gentle mat yoga for the care of Waldenstroms. I'm so glad you made your way here, and I'm looking forward to rolling out my mat with you. Today's class will be a gentle class where we will be getting down onto the floor and back up and back down again. So if this is something that you don't feel safe managing, you could either visit our chair yoga class on Mondays, or you could watch and just do what you can do. So yoga, in all of its forms, meaning physical postures, breathing, meditation, mudras, is something that is recommended by many of our integrative oncologists as a complementary integrative therapy to use alongside standard medical treatment. And this can help at any stage of the cancer journey. And I was so thrilled to meet Dr. Alyssa Houston out in Seattle during our Ed Forum. She spoke about integrative oncology so beautifully. And I'm looking forward to looking back at that video and hearing it again. It was so thrilling to see the word yoga and all of the reasons why you would want to do it up on the big screen at our Ed Forum, and to just be thinking of all of you and how we've been practicing together for years, or maybe we're just beginning our practice together. And we already know all of this, but it's great that the research is there, and it's great that we're beginning to see this being used more and more as a way to manage improving quality of life. So let's get started. That's the why. And I want to begin by showing you how to transition safely to the floor. Okay, so maybe you're already there, and that's great. Maybe you're looking for some guidance on how to get down onto the floor. And I just want to point out that I have a yoga mat. I have 2 yoga blocks. I have a yoga strap, a blanket, and a chair. I basically have all the things because I'm a yoga teacher, right? And I have all these things. If you don't have all those things, that's okay. A mat would be the basic thing I would love for you to have, and some ways to make yourself comfortable in our final pose. So a pillow or blanket, a pillow for underneath the knees, and something you can use as a strap. It could be a tie, it could be a dog leash. I know you have one of those. I see a lot of dogs in the group today. So feel free to grab any of those things, and if you are just here to listen and listen to breathing cues, that's beautiful. Doing what you can. So getting down onto the floor, I have a chair here, and I have a blanket for my knees. I'm just going to take a little fold forward with a flat back, place my hands on my chair, drop my good knee down. Maybe you have a good knee, maybe you have a bad knee. Balance on both knees, and then I'm coming to sit however I want to get there, and I'll use my yoga block or my blanket as a support underneath my hips. So I want to lift my hips up a little higher than my knees, and this helps when we start getting into a meditation practice where we're seated for a longer period of time, so our legs don't fall asleep. So another option, yes, thank you, Gordon, for reminding me, is to fold the knees underneath and come up to sit on 1 or even 2 blocks, right? 2 blocks. And you can see from the side, I've created a beautiful little throne for myself here to sit up nice and tall so that I can have a tall spine. We won't be here long, but I do want to get us started with a little bit of centering. And I brought my what's called a Shruti box so we can get started with a little bit of sound vibration. So I'd ask that you just begin exactly as you are, in whatever state of being you're in. Noticing the connection your body's making with the earth. And taking a breath in. Exhaling it out the mouth. Let's Good, Jill. Breathing in, breathing out. And joining me optionally to create some bees breath sounds, just humming. We're breathing in through the nose, and as we exhale, we're creating a humming sound. Two more breaths. And one more. Beautiful, friends. And so, letting that reverberate for a moment. You can keep the eyes closed if you like. We're just softening the shoulders, softening the jaw. We will move into a reclining posture momentarily, but let's see if we can take 3 breaths together. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Knowing that we are here as a community together, navigating the ups and downs, the fluctuations, the turbulence together. Knowing we can always come back to the next breath as a means by which to leave past moments behind and just be here. All right, I might just tilt my head from side to side a few times, roll my shoulders, whatever would feel good. Some of us are more used to sitting on the ground than others, so I want to move right away to a reclining posture. However you want to get there, I'm going to take my time and just come to lie on my back. So we'll do a few things in a reclining posture here, and you can do this even from your bed if you wanted to sometime. If it felt useful, you could have a little support underneath the head. So I'm coming to lie on my back, getting comfy here for a moment. I've got my knees bent, my arms resting at my sides. And I'll just widen my feet out a little wider so my feet are maybe towards the edges of the mat, and I can bring my arms out to the sides a little bit if they're not already there. And I'm just going to wash my knees from side to side in what's called windshield wipers. So I'm lying on the earth. I'm being cradled by the earth. And I'm bringing some gentle motion into my hip flexors and my low back. This is a place where a lot of us can become really tight. Moving my knees from side to side at whatever speed feels comfortable. I don't have to push to my full range of motion. I could just explore a little bit of movement. Maybe one more on each side. Good. And then I'm going to hug my knees into my chest and rock a little bit so I can massage the lower back. You got it, Mimi. Just a little egg rolling on the ground. All right, and then I'm going to plant both feet down again. I'm going to slide my head support away because I want to remove this as we do some bridge pulses. So I've got my knees bent, my feet on the earth, and I'm just going to start by lifting my arms up, reaching my arms behind me and seeing how far my arms want to go, and then relaxing my arms down. I'm breathing in, arms rising up overhead. Exhaling, arms down at my sides. Now as I lift my arms, I might also lift my hips a little bit off the earth, and then everything can come back down. So I'm waving hello to my yoga practice, lifting my hips and my hands, and then releasing everything down at whatever pace feels good. It's a great way to wake up the spine. I'm breathing in and breathing out. And I'm not going to push through any pain or discomfort here today. If there's something that causes me any pain or discomfort, I'm going to edge away from that or skip it. 1 or 2 more bridge pulses. Maybe you want to lift as high as you possibly can with the hips. Hold for a breath. Leave the arms where they are, uplifted, and slowly bring each vertebra down one at a time. See if you can feel each individual vertebra. Really nice, guys. Bringing my hands down to my stomach, just resting my hands on my belly. And I'm going to do some pelvic tilts. So this is a very subtle, small movement where I press my belly button down into the earth, thereby flattening my lumbar curve. And then I'll lift my lumbar curve up away from the earth, so I'm accentuating it. I can almost slide my hand underneath my low back, so there's some space there. So I'm just tipping my pelvis forward and back. Hi, Greg, welcome. Or down on the floor if you feel comfortable doing that. And if you don't, that's okay. You can modify and come to our chair yoga on Monday and just get inspired to progress. So we're tilting the pelvis, pushing it down, lifting it up, and just noticing what this feels like. All right. Can you hear me okay, Ginger? Okay. Just a very subtle movement, this pelvic tilt. But it's an important one. It's sort of the foundation of a lot of our poses to know what's happening with our pelvis. And now I'm just going to take some breaths, some easy breaths. And as I breathe in, I'm going to allow my belly to expand like a balloon. As I breathe out, I'm just coming back to neutral, letting my shoulders relax. Breathing in, belly rise. Breathing in, belly fall. Breathing in, belly rise. Breathing in, belly fall. And this might be something you can do, when all else fails. Come back to belly breathing. See if you can get into a space where your belly fills and softens. Now I'm going to roll over onto one side. Doesn't matter which. I'm going to cradle my head in my hand. I've got my bottom leg bent and my top leg is long. And this is a bit of a balance challenge to stay on this in the side lying balance. I want to be comfortable here, and I want to make sure that my whole body is sort of in line, so my leg isn't really far forward or far back. And I'm just going to be lifting my top leg up, nice and straight, and releasing it down. So we're turning on those side glute muscles, right? If you're caring for hip issues and this does not feel good to you, change it up. Do less. Skip it. So I want to do about 5 of these leg lifts with my breath. Breathing in, Breathing out, and you can kind of feel where that is starting to create a little bit of sensation in that outer hip. Now from here, I'm going to bend my top leg and straighten my bottom leg and see if I could reach back. And this is a little balance challenge here. We're going to grab onto that top leg. Maybe it's the pant leg. Maybe it's the ankle. Maybe it's the foot. And if it's out of reach, that's okay. But I'm looking to get a little bit of a quad stretch. And I'm lifting my heart, taking a couple of breaths here. You got it. That looks good. And we're releasing that. I'm just going to roll over onto my belly for a moment. Rolling over onto my belly. My legs are straight. And I'm going to come down and let let's see if the microphone will not get messed up here. I'm going to let my forehead rest and bring my hands to frame my rib cage. My legs are active, and I'm just going to lift up my chest and my head, squeezing my shoulder blades. So it's a baby cobra, and come back down. We'll do some pulses. We're breathing in, lifting up, breathing out, coming down, and you could do a total of 5 of these at your own pace. Right? Take care to tuck that chin so I don't want to strain my neck. And the legs can stay active so my kneecaps are lifting. And I might take one more, best one yet, not a lot of weight in the hands. And then I'm going to bring my forearms underneath my head like a pillow and bring my legs out to the sides, pointing my toes out to the sides. And I'm going to let a cheek rest. And I'm going to let my whole body let go here for a moment. Taking a big breath in. As I exhale, everything it's like a puddle. I'm letting myself become part of that puddle. Big breath in. Sigh it out. And you can feel your belly pushing down into the earth as you breathe. Really feel that belly pushing down as you inhale. And letting go of everything. Surrendering to the flow. Just accepting this is where I am right now. And the one thing we know we can count on is that whatever it is, it will change. Maybe you want to take one more belly breath here, face down. All right, and then I'm coming up and I'm going to roll onto my other side, right? So I'm going to swing my legs around here so I can still see you. You could turn away from me if you need to, that's fine. Just listen to my voice. So I've got the bottom leg bent and the top leg long. I'm cradling my head in my hand. And I'm lifting that top leg up. Doesn't have to be as far as I possibly can go. Turning on the outer hip muscles, the glute muscles. We're finding the breath. Bottom leg bent, top leg long. Lifting that top leg up or skipping this side. Right? I've got my hand here to help me balance. And I might do a total of 5 or whatever feels good to me. And then I'm going in for that quad stretch. So I'm straightening the bottom leg and reaching back with my hand, grabbing onto whatever's available of that top leg. Maybe it's a pant leg, right? Maybe you can reach the ankle. Maybe we're just bending the knee. And if you get wobbly here, you're not alone. Big breath in. Sigh it out the mouth. And then we're releasing. And once again, we're going to roll onto the belly. Rolling onto the belly. And we're going to do another set of those baby cobra pulses. So I've got my hands to frame the rib cage. My forehead is resting on the earth. I'm going to start by igniting my legs and lifting my head, squeezing my shoulder blades together, and coming back down. And I'm going to do just 3 this time. Inhaling and lifting. Exhaling down. And last one. Big breath, best one yet. And then I'm going to come back into my crocodile pose, Makarasana, where I make a pillow with my forearms. My toes can point out to the sides. And I'm letting go, imagining myself just sort of floating down the river here. Big breath in. Sighing it out the mouth. It is going to be okay. And one more, pushing that belly down into the earth. Very good, friends. I'm going to slowly push myself up to my hands and knees, and I'm not in any hurry to get there. If you have tender knees, you can pad up using a blanket. If you have tender wrists, you might want to use your blocks in some way, or you can point the fingers out to the sides, and that can take a little bit of pressure off the wrist. So I'm just getting into my hands and knees posture. My hands are right underneath my shoulders, my knees are right underneath my hips, and I'm just going to make some circles with my whole body. Circles with my whole body, and I'm not straining my neck here. Circling my whole body, I can feel this in my wrists. I can feel this in my elbows, my shoulders. I'm breathing. Feel it in my hips, my knees, even my ankles. So all of the joints. I might go the other direction if I haven't already. You've got it. That's beautiful, Marty. And then I'm coming back to neutral, and I'm going to give you a really cool little exercise here you can do. I like to call them scapular push-ups. So all I'm doing is I'm letting my chest sink, and I'm squeezing my shoulder blades. So really squeezing those shoulder blades, and then I'm going to push into the earth. My arms are straight, and my shoulder blades slide to the sides. The only thing moving in this exercise are my shoulder blades. So I'm letting my chest sink, and I'm pushing into the earth, letting the shoulder blades slide to the side. So this is a really nice thing you can do to reduce the tension in the shoulders and the upper back. Free up the shoulder blades. And I want to get a t-shirt that says, "Free the scapula," because we tend to have them so stuck. All right, let's take a break. I'm going to tuck my toes under, walk my hands back. Right? If this feels too much on your knees, you can modify. I'm plugging my fingertips into the earth. So here I am. I've got my knees bent. I'm giving my toes a really big stretch. My fingers are in the earth. I'm moving towards my lion's pose. You've got it, Karen, doing whatever feels best. Lion's pose, we've got our mouths open. We're sticking our tongues out. And maybe we can release a little bit of something we want to get rid of by roaring. I got my tongue sticking out. Maybe one more of those big lion's breaths. All right, you got it, Gail. So nice to see you in Seattle. All right, I'm coming back onto my hands and knees. And I'm going to stretch my right leg long with the toe on the earth. I'm rocking forward and rocking back. So I got my toe on the earth to start. And I'm just giving my toes and my calf a little stretch. And then I'm going to lift my heel up off the earth. Now remember when we were doing those pelvic tilts. Let's pull the belly in towards the spine, tilt the pelvis back a little bit. So I'm really integrated here. And then I'm going to slowly spider walk my left fingers forward, and I might feel comfortable lifting my left hand up So I'm extending my right leg and my left arm. I'm taking a big breath. This is very hard. And then coming back down. Switching it up to the other side. I've got my left leg long, toe on the earth, rocking forward, rocking back, going at my own pace today. And then I'll lift my left heel up, pull that belly up towards the spine. Very important step. You've got it, Marty. Spider walk the right fingers forward, and maybe that right arm reaches. We're taking a big breath, and we're releasing back down. And if your wrists still feel okay, we can move from side to side. So we're extending opposite arm, opposite leg, with that belly pulling towards the spine. And if your wrists are saying no, you can come into any pose you like. Maybe a child's pose where we're going to be going next. So extending on the inhale, reaching. My gaze stays at the top of my mat, so I'm not really creating strain in my neck. And this is a wonderful balance and core exercise that I love to do almost every day. When you're done, go ahead and separate the knees a little bit wider, sink back towards the heels, and come into your child's pose. Now, this might not feel comfortable for you if you have knee issues. And if that's you, you can modify by perhaps bringing the torso up and being a little bit less extreme in the pose. Maybe you feel comfortable with the forehead resting on your block, a blanket, or the earth. Coming into child's pose, what can I let go of here? Can I let go of effort in my arms? Right? And if it feels like the floor is really far away, it's so great to have something underneath the forehead, like your block, something for the third eye to rest on. And this little inward space that we get into in child's pose is so intimate. Take a breath with yourself here. When you're ready to begin coming out of child's pose, which might not happen anytime soon, and that's fine, I'm going to slowly come up. And just for a moment, I'm going to be balancing on my knees, and I'm close to my chair, right? I'm close to my chair, so I'm going to have something to help me stand up, a piece of furniture that's not going to move. So I'm balancing on my knees. And I'm stepping 1 foot forward, doesn't matter which, tucking my back toe under and pushing my way up to a standing posture. Walking it out, really nice, Gail, however you want to get there, right? Walking it up, taking a sip of water. All right. Now I'm going to make sure I have a clear space. So I've got a wide open mat, ready to do some standing work here, or play. Let's call it play. So I'm going to start with my toes, the foundation of my balance, and I have my chair nearby if I need it. So we will be doing some balance today. Picking up my toes, maybe, spreading them wide, maybe, and digging them back down. See if you can lift, spread your toes, and dig them back down a few times. And you can do this anytime you think of it. Just lifting and spreading the toes. So I want to start to individuate my toes. And this is can be really useful for us as we look to maintain or improve balance. All right, so thinking about that big toe, maybe just my big toes lift. I might have to look down and maybe send a little prayer down to my toes to listen to me. So it's just the big toes lifting. Maybe just the little toes lifting. Got it, Ginger. So we're working with the toes, trying to individuate the toes. Big toes lifting, little toes lifting. We're going back and forth. So I've just sort of turned on some awareness of my toes and my feet. Now I'm going to turn on awareness of my peripheral vision. So I'm just going to hold my arms underneath where I can see, and I'm noticing that I can see my hands without looking down. Now with my arms at my sides, maybe my hand on a chair here, I'm going to come up onto my tiptoes and release back down. Remember that big toe and the ball underneath the big toe. We're pushing up from there and we're coming back down. Maybe you want to float one or both arms. And it was really fun during the Ed Forum to get up on the big stage and do this with all the folks in person as well as you at home virtually. And so cool to see a whole flock of Walden birds, I'll call them, out there doing this with me. Breathing in, breathing out. Definitely a rare flock indeed. Let's do two more at your own pace. Maybe it's one hand on the chair the whole time. You've got it. Then I'm going to sink into my knees a little bit and bring my hips back. That pelvis, what am I doing with that pelvis? I'm tipping it back a little bit. And then I'll bring my arms down at my sides with the palms facing each other. So yeah, that's it. You got it, gal. I'm going to swoop my arms up and extend my arms overhead, straightening my knees. As I exhale, I'm going to come back down. Weight is in the heels. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathing out, coming down. Inhale. And exhale. And last one. And release down. And I'm coming back up to stand, and I'm going to grab my strap or something I can use as a strap. And if you don't have a strap, that's okay. You can hold on to what you can hold on to here. So I'm going to take my strap, and I'm just going to bring it behind me. And I've got the strap in my hands with the palms facing away from my body at about shoulder distance apart. And I'm just going to be lifting that strap up and releasing it down. Breathing. Right, and if you didn't have a strap, you could try hooking the thumbs, or you could just hold the arms out behind you. You've got it. Breathing. Releasing. Two more times. Now, I prefer a strap that does not stretch, but if all you have is a TheraBand, that's totally fine. All right, so you could do a few more of those, or maybe you're ready to move on to some side bending with me. I'm going to take my strap into my hands wider than shoulder distance, and I'll lift the strap up as far as feels good to me overhead with a nice wide stance. I'm rooting down through my feet, and I'm just going to be stretching side to side, breathing as I move. You've got it. Maybe one more on each side. And then releasing the strap and setting it down to the side for now. So let's go ahead and get into that first delicious warrior one. I'm going to step my right foot forward and bring my left foot back at an angle. My hips are pointing forward. I'm going to bend into my right knee. Find what feels stable to you, right? So maybe it's not a very wide stance. Maybe it's a very wide stance. I'm going to bring my hands to heart center today. And squeeze that left glute muscle. And what's happening with my pelvis? I'm tipping it back a little bit. Now I could stay here, right here. I might want to flow a little bit. I might want to inhale the arms out and up, straighten the knee. Exhale, sink into the knee, bring the hands to heart center. Okay, so we're inhaling, flowing, exhaling, sinking, or you might like to stay static. That's fine too. You got it, Hazel. And let's hold this warrior one together. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one, being here just as you are. Good, beautiful. Let's come out of it. We're straightening the knees and shortening the stance. I have some options here. I could hold onto my hips with my hands. I could interlace my fingers behind my back, or I could grab my strap and take it behind my back. And I'm just going to be taking a bow. If you feel wobbly, walk the right foot to the right. I'm leading with my heart as I tuck my chin. Both legs are straight. Both legs are straight here, and I'm finding what feels right to me, always. Good. Come on up nice and slow. I'm going to toss my strap if I've been using one. And I'm just going to step up, bring my arms into the air, and step back. So I'm stepping, weight in the right foot, lifting the left knee. Good. Stepping up, lifting the knee up, stepping back. It might be just a short little step. I'm practicing slowing down and standing in my tuning fork. My tuning fork where I hold the arms up in that one knee. And I might do that one more time. You got it, Karen. Beautiful. And then we're coming back to mountain pose. Coming back to mountain pose and just taking a breath between sides. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose or mouth. All right, ready for warrior one on the other side. Stepping my left foot forward and my right foot back at an angle. My hips are pointed forward. I'm bending into my left knee. And I might walk my left foot to the left if I feel wobbly here. My hands are at heart center to start. Squeezing that right glute muscle to stabilize the hips. And then I might feel like flowing a little bit. Inhaling the arms out and up. Exhaling the hands to heart center, sinking into that knee. Breathing in, I'm reaching up and grabbing a little slice of calm and bringing it into my heart. And one more. You got this. Beautiful. Taking some breaths in your warrior one. And then we'll come out of it. Shortening the stance. Both legs are straight. I might take my strap behind my back, or I might interlace my fingers behind my back, whatever feels comfortable. And I'm pulling that strap kind of down away from my shoulders. As I pour my heart forward, both legs strong. Finding my version of a pyramid. Tuck that chin. Yes, that's you, Marty. I love you. You're just like me. I always jet my chin forward, and I've learned through lots of neck tension that over time that can exacerbate things. I'm coming up when I'm ready. Sorry to call you out like that. Okay, tossing my strap to the side. I'm going to step into my left foot and step up and step back. Swing those arms up and back. Have fun with it. Be a mess. It's okay. Maybe I hold the side. Could feel different. One more on each side, or one more on this side. Good, and then we'll come back to a wider stance. So coming to a wider stance, I'm going to circle my hips. You guys are doing great. I know some of you had done the previous class, gentle yoga class, recording. Some of you were here live as well. Circling the other direction. What comes after warrior one? Could it be warrior two? All right, so with warrior two, if you have hip issues, see how this feels for you. And maybe you have not as wide a stance as I do. I'm going to turn my right toes to the right. And I'm going to angle my left foot in, but my hips are still pointing towards you. My torso is still pointing towards you. And I can take my hands to heart center. So I want to see your hands to heart center pointing towards me. And then I'm bending into this right knee. Right? And a lot of times I see folks, they're really leaning more towards that bent knee. So see if you can be right there in the middle. Squeeze that left glute muscle. Look down at that right knee. See where it is. Is it crumbling in? Could I maybe line it up with the ankle if that would feel stabilizing for me? And then I'm going to stretch my wings open. Warrior two. I'm reaching forward into the future. And then I'll reach back into the past. Only thing moving is my torso. Forward. Into the future. Into the past. And then in my warrior two here, I'm going to find that sweet present moment spot right in the middle and hang out there for a couple breaths. And here I'm squeezing all those muscles along the bones and getting that bone strengthening benefit. Right? So I can literally imagine those osteocytes forming new bone as I do this pose in my hip and my low back. All right, come on out of it nice and slow. I'm going to turn both toes towards you. I'm going to shorten my stance and take some more hip circles here. Warrior two is can be a pretty intense pose. Circling those hips. Do the hips move forward? Do they move to the side? Do they move back? Really accentuate this movement. Good. Now let's try warrior two on the other side. Maybe you widen the stance a little bit. I'm going to bring my left toes to the left, angle my right foot in, sinking into that left knee, and my torso stays pointing towards you. And this can feel a little awkward, so change it up so you feel stable. Squeezing all those muscles along the bones. I spread my wings. What could be happening in the future? I'm reaching forward, and then I'm reaching back to the past. Surfing the waters here of my present moment. I can't really experience future or past the way I can experience present. So I think that's where I'll just plunk down and I'll stay right here in this breath with you. Gazing over that left hand. Finding my breath. Good, and then we'll release out of that nice and slow. Shortening my stance, all 10 toes facing towards you. I'll move to a wide-legged forward fold. So with a nice flat back, slowly letting the hands slide down the legs, or maybe you're already down to the floor. Right? There's no pressure to push past your range here. If you have glaucoma, you might keep the head lifted. Finding my breath. Easy breaths. And then I'll slowly, when I'm ready, make my way up. Walk it out. Take a sip of water. Really nice, guys. So now I want to play with a movement that uses the side glutes that we were warming up in our side lying balance. So this is something we might do in a cardio flow class, but I love a little bit of fun in the middle of a classic yoga pose. So I have a little bit of a wider stance. My hands are going to be at heart center. I'm going to soften both knees. And for now, I'm just going to move from side to side. My weight will come over one leg and then the other. And I might gradually lift my heel up of the opposite leg. Right? So I'm coming to one side, lifting. And this might be where you stay with this. I might look towards kicking that leg up and sinking back down. Kicking the opposite leg up, sinking back down. I'm breathing, sinking, kicking, sinking. Really turning on those side glute muscles. It's a bit of a balance challenge as well. Soft landing. Soft landing. You got it. Maybe you want to play with the arms. Breathing, doing what feels best for you. Maybe you feel done with this, and that's fine. Got it, Gordon. Nice. One more on each side. All right. Really nice, guys. Take a breath. Take a sip of water. And we're going to do a balance pose, and then we'll get into our some seated and reclining warm down, and we'll have time for a nice long rest pose at the end. Okay, so balance challenge. Maybe you want to bring your chair into the mix. I'm going to be working with tree pose today. So I've got my feet at about hips width distance apart, and I'm going to start to pour the weight into my right leg, my right foot, that has a soft bendy bounce to both knees. I'll lift up my left heel and open my left knee to the side, just as far as feels comfortable to me. And right away, I sort of feel like I'm sinking into my right hip. So I'm going to try to zip everything up. And I'm working towards bringing my foot up onto my calf for just like a millisecond. Maybe if I can get it there and I feel stable, I'll push the foot into the leg and the leg back into the foot. And I'm zipping up and finding my breath. And I can feel that support network of roots all of us share. One more breath. You got it. Come on out of it. Kick it out. Snap it out. We were doing this in our Ed Forum live virtual hybrid class. Just making sure that we are not taking ourselves too seriously. All right. And now we'll try the other side. So a little bendy bounce, weight in the left foot. Pick up the right heel, open the knee, however far feels good to you. And notice that we're kind of sinking into this hip. We're going to zip it all up from my core. And we're working towards, maybe you keep your toe on the ground the whole time. That would be totally fine. Maybe we're working towards bringing it up onto the calf, anywhere but the knee. Anywhere but the knee. Yes. Imagine that string coming out of the top of your head, lifting you a little taller. Can you use those glute muscles? Can you feel those core muscles? Maybe you can soften the gaze and find something far away to look at. And when you're ready, kick it out, snap it out, dance it out. We have a blue jay right outside the window here. Wants to get involved in the yoga. All right, so now we're going to come down to the mat again. I'm going to show the transition. So do what you need to do on your ends to transition to a seated posture, but I've got my blanket here. I'm going to take a flat back forward fold, place my hands on my furniture, drop one knee down, other knee down, and come to sit. Coming to sit, I think I'll face this way. Maybe I want to sit up on the edge of a blanket, right? Maybe not. And I'm going to take my block or a pillow or anything and squeeze it between my calves in our staff pose, Dandasana pose. This is a tough pose that if you're like me, or like a lot of people, we get into this pose and we immediately kind of round our backs. If you need to use the hands behind you to support you, that's fine. I'm looking towards letting my arms rest at my sides. You got it. And sitting up nice and tall with my legs straight out in front, squeezing that block or pillow. Finding my breath. Maybe you take 2 more breaths here. And then I'm releasing my block to the side. I'm going to hug my right knee in. So I'm bending my right knee, and I'm going to measure a little bit of distance with my fist between my ankle and between my thigh. And I'll be sitting up tall and seeing how it would feel to twist a little bit to the right. Hugging my knee with my left arm and placing my right arm behind me. Can that left leg be very engaged, creating a foundation for you? We're sitting up tall and we're twisting, peeking over that right shoulder. Using those core muscles to twist. Good. And then we're slowly coming back and we're going to switch sides. So hugging the left leg in. Measure a little bit of distance there. And I'm looking to twist to the left. You've got it. Looking good, Gail. Keeping that right leg engaged. Peeking over the left shoulder. And slowly relaxing back to center, seeing how it would feel to bring the soles of the feet together and the knees apart. I'm flapping my butterfly wings, taking some breaths here. I might want to hold onto my feet, massage my feet while I'm here. So many of us caring for peripheral neuropathy, osteoarthritis in the feet, other foot issues that can plague us. So just giving our feet a little bit of love, a little bit of care. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we'll come to lie on the back with your perhaps blanket or pillow underneath the head. So we'll just do 2 more little things here, and then we'll get into our rest pose. So I've got my knees bent. And I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee. Reach through the window of my legs and grab onto my left thigh. Hug it in. Right? Or accommodate myself otherwise. That might mean I just come up onto the tiptoe of the left foot. Right? We're not forcing this. And I find my breath here, some easy breaths. Slowly planting that left foot down. Before you switch sides, Let's cross the knee all the way over. So I've got the right knee nestling on top of the left, and I'm going to let those knees drift to the left side while I open my right arm to the right. I might even scoot my hips to the right a little bit as well. If this feels like too much, you can prop up something underneath the knees, or you can just bring the knees side by side. So I'm beginning to let go of my practice in this pose. Noticing where I can feel my breath, moving into that right side body. Just letting breath and gravity do the work. Returning to center when you're ready. And it might feel really good to stay where you are, so that would be fine too. I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right knee. The side could feel different. I'm just hugging it in, reaching through that window, grabbing onto the right thigh perhaps. You can always use a strap to pull the leg closer if you can't reach the thigh. Honoring my body. Yeah, maybe a little ankle roll would be nice there. Thanks for the idea, Gordon. And then we're planting that right foot down, crossing the knee over, knees are nestling, shifting my hips to the left and allowing my knees to drift to the right while my left arm reaches to the left. My head can be wherever feels good. And I'm just going to let go here a little bit. Let myself soften. Let myself move from a state of doing to a state of being. Just being. It's quite a gift to just be. All right, and we're coming back, hugging the knees into the chest one last time, and getting ourselves set up for the most delicious, most comfortable Shavasana or rest pose. So I've got a bolster, maybe you have a pillow you could bring underneath the knees. Maybe you even have an eye pillow that you could rest across the eyes. I want you to find a way to get as comfortable as you possibly can. Get out all of those supports you need, maybe a blanket, maybe you put on a layer. Maybe you set aside dark chocolate for next time to have when you come right out of your Shavasana. Okay, so getting yourself very comfortable, very relaxed into your final pose as we bring out a little bit of the singing bowls to help create a foundation for your Shavasana. Taking a breath in and letting go of effort through my neck and my shoulders on the exhalation. Breathing in, I am letting go of effort in my arms, all the way down to my fingers. Breathing in, I'm letting go of effort in my spine, in my back, feeling the support of the earth underneath me. Softly sinking a little deeper. Doing nothing. Breathing in. Letting go of effort in my legs. Letting my legs be heavy. Each leg a tree trunk. And every part of my body that is touching the earth can send little roots down to anchor and nourish. Drawing up nourishment from those roots. Connection, support, care. Truth to truth, lead me. From darkness to light, lead me. From death to immortality, lead me. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Knowing that you can stay here in this restful pose as long as you like, and you can return anytime you need it. If you're ready to begin coming out of your Shavasana pose, you could lick your lips and swallow. You could turn the head from side to side. You could stretch through the fingers and toes. Maybe you roll onto one side. Give yourself a hug. Yes, marinating in your essence. And thanking yourself for making this time, this beautiful time to just be. And when you're ready, you might come up to sit and join me in our final closing chants. May all beings everywhere be happy. Taking the hands to heart center or resting the hand on the heart. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And thanking you so much for your practice today, friends. Namaste.